Derrick Henry is going to be fed. Derrick Henry, according to Ravens head coach John Harbaugh, is going to have a big, massive workload, the kind of workload we've been expecting, the kind of workload that delivers you 10 to 14 touchdowns in 2024. Let's ride. Of course, we're concerned about how old Derrick Henry is. He is an outlier. He's an old dog. He's not somebody you can suggest has the same kind of injury concern as any other running back in the league. You can't use him as a blueprint. We can't say that 30-year-old running backs or even 29-year-old running backs can do it. But what we won't do is ignore the touchdown opportunity that is being handed to Derrick Henry walking into 2024. Derrick Henry could have a 10 to 14 touchdown season with even a 900-yard rushing affair, because this man's going to have at least 3 touchdown games. He'll probably have 3, maybe 4 multiple touchdown games, and he probably still has enough left in the tank to have some rumbles. They're throwing the ball to him. Todd Monken's done a fantastic job with this Ravens offense, and he's designing plays, throwing to Derrick Henry, and we have this preconceived notion that Derrick Henry does not catch footballs because Tennessee didn't play that way. Tennessee didn't decide to throw this man the football ever, and he's going to be handed a bunch more receptions than we're accustomed to seeing. And as a guy losing a step, that's what you want. Eckler over in Washington, give him more receptions and less work between the tackle. Henry is going probably to the moon at the ripe age of 30 plus, and we're here for it. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So we've got a lot to discuss, ladies and gentlemen, around this particular topic, Derrick Henry. We've got a lot of information to discuss regarding J.J. McCarthy and also Justin Jefferson. So let's have at it. Let's get right into it and just say this with Derrick Henry. I've already said a bunch already, but there's no denying that there's injury risk. But the key component here when we're talking about Derrick Henry and his value walking into where's my eraser when you need it? Let's use this right here. Wipe off the board. You're talking about a Derrick Henry, very risky running back at last year's pricing. He's older, right? He can get hurt. Smitty told you this is a dangerous potential proposition anytime you're talking about a 29 or 30-year-old running back. Even a 28, you're holding your breath, right? Well, not when you're talking about not even needing to go inside round 1. We don't even need to go near round number 1. We don't need to go anywhere inside round 2. We can get this man in round 3. Sometimes we can get him in round 4. And the bottom line is this. You can win a league with a 12 to 14 touchdown running back in round 4. Everything's about cost of entry. Everything is about cost of entry. There's no player we won't go near. There's no player we'll take no matter what. Everything depends on cost of entry. And Derrick Henry at 3rd, sometimes 4th round value is 0 risk. If he's getting you even 8 touchdowns and 800 yards and he gets hurt, you got your value essentially out of Derrick Henry because you're supplementing those non-starts with another player. I love this value. I've never loved Derrick Henry the past year or so, tinkering with that high ADP, and all of a sudden I'm in right now because of the low cost of entry. The same can be said for little Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is a player that you could draft in this territory of round 3-4 right here. Round 3-4, little Cooper Kupp is going right in this 3-4 turn. This is the same concept. This is a wide receiver 1 that we're scared to death, can't deliver wide receiver 1 numbers any longer. So we should not be paying round number 1 or round number 2 value or even top of round 3 value. We need to stay clear. We don't have to go anywhere into these territories to get little Cooper Kupp or Derrick Henry. Dare I say that these two guys are some of the craftiest top of round 4 players you can find in all of fantasy football. You want to win your league? You can win it in round 4. You want to win your league? Little Cooper Kupp and Derrick Henry is a pretty solid smash at the 3-4 turn. Let's say you go into this situation, and let's redraw this board here, and at this, let's say 12 and 13 turn picks, you take little Garrett Wilson. You take little Garrett, let's get some focus, little Garrett Wilson and MHJ. And then you get little Cooper Kupp, and you get big old King Derrick Henry. I'm not saying Henry falls to this ADP all the time, but this is a pretty damn good looking squad. Maybe you get Jahmyr Gibbs and Breece Hall fall to you. Maybe you do a hell of a job and somehow your league is going wide receiver heavy. Sometimes these guys fall, sometimes they don't. You can get, I've done this plenty of times, Gibbs and Hall, smash, Cooper Kupp, Derrick Henry. You don't have to go Derrick Henry there. You can go Derrick Henry there. Let's say we want to go and roll with a, let's call it a 0 RB strategy through 3 rounds. We go with CD Lamb chops, or even I mean, we could pick a number of players there. Jamar Chase goes a little bit further down. So let's go Jamar Chase right here. And then we take, I guess we could say, I'm trying to not go RB. Let's say we go with even Debo right here. It's a little early, but it's doable. And then sometimes you can get MHJ right there. Obviously, I want MHJ over Debo if he was to fall, but it depends where you're drafting. If you're drafting on ESPN or with Aunt Edna and Grandpa, you might be able to get MHJ there. Regardless, let's just put a Debo Samuel in this territory just to play it safe. And let's say right here, you're able to get Henry if he falls. This could be your 1 RB. You could later on get Zamir. You could later on get Najee Harris. You could add to your running back stable something along the lines of this. You could have Henry, Zamir White, Najee Harris. You could have Henry, Zamir White, and Jonathan Brooks. And even have Benson somehow in your running back stable by waiting on RB, taking Henry in round 4, and going Jamar Chase, Debo Samuel, and Jalen Hurts. Who's not winning championships with Chase, Debo, Hurts, Henry, Benson, Brooks, Zamir, obviously some other talent in round, 5 and 6, whatever. You're smashing the hell out of your leagues. We're cooking.
Let him cook.
Henry to the moon. Appreciate everybody in the building here. How many we got in here? 144 sum total, 127 from YouTube, 55 thumbs up. Punch that thumb up button. Wipe your feet at the front door, my good people. Phil was first in the building. Rock out, Allen, Shamrock, DC, Deckard. Appreciate you all being here. Travis Rowe in the building. Thank you to my mod squad. Blackbeard's in here. Aaron Rodgers, we got news today. Kind of one-upped yesterday's news, right? That Aaron Rodgers is going to miss all of Jets minicamp. Not exactly what you want to hear, but Coach Robert Saleh, ended up saying and clarifying today that, again, this is known. This is not a surprise. It was marked as inexcused, right? So he's going to have to pay some fines, but it is not something that wasn't talked about. Very well made aware. His team backed him. Multiple players went to a podium today and said, look, it's not a big deal. It's important to him that he goes to this event or whatever he's going to do. So it's important to us. He's been here from the beginning. He was here before I was here. He was at all the voluntary workouts. He's been at everything. He hasn't missed a single day, and he's going to be gone. It's been scheduled. It's on the books. I don't know what it is. We don't know if it's a darkness retreat. We don't know if he's running for VP. We don't know what he's doing, but I'm not too worried about it. It's minicamp. It's not. It's definitely for a veteran like him, not the end of the world. It's not what you want. Would I desire this to happen? No. But am I panicked? Am I lowering the value of Garrett Wilson, who looks fantastic right now? Garrett Wilson going to the moon. You want a double-decker? If you want a double-decker, I ain't mad at you.
The double-decker, pronounced double-decker in academic circles, is drafting wide receiver back-to-back in rounds 1 and 2, using these plethoras of players. The double-decker.
I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not mad at a single soul that wants to go double-decker this year. Grab Garrett Wilson, grab a smile, grab a Sprite. This is a Sprite Zero, by the way. I'm trying to go low cal here so I can lose some LBs. I'm trying to do what Lamar Jackson's doing. Drop down to about 205. I'd love to be up 205. I want to be what Lamar weighs. I want to be the same size as Lamar. I'm probably a half inch taller than Lamar, maybe an inch taller than Lamar. I want to weigh and look the size of Lamar. I want to be able to come on stream and go, I'm Lamar's size. Right now I'm Anthony Richardson. But that's okay because he's a beast. I just need to work out, get a little bit more fit. We need to work out more. We said we were going to. I have been, but I need to do 15K steps a day. That's going to include about 2 miles of running in that. We're doing it live. Aaron Rodgers, look, is it great news? No. Is it the end of the world? No. But we'll address more as it comes. Maybe it's kind of good for him to have some time off. You know what I'm saying? Have a little bit of time off just to keep that Achilles, not being overworked. Maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise. Josh Allen said he made some tweaks to his throwing motion to increase his efficiency, which is fantastic news if I've ever heard it. This guy getting better. That sounds good to me. This guy getting better. I could Smitty approve that.
You've just been Smitty approved.
We'll do it and do it live. Josh Allen to the mother freaking moon. Where do you draft Josh Allen? I'll tell you where. You know where Excel sheet Eric and box score Bobby are telling you to draft Josh Allen? You know where box score Bobby's telling you to take him? Don't you, pal? Where's my box score Bobby button when I need it? I don't even know where I put it. All right, prepare for take one. All right, action.
He's a box score Bobby. He's a little sloppy. Box score Bobby. He's a box score Bobby. He's so sloppy. Bobby.
Where do you draft Derrick Henry? That's why I played that. Where you draft Josh Allen? I'm sorry. I draft Josh Allen in this third round. I put out Jalen Hurts there, but if Allen falls, I'm drafting Allen with a smile right here. Do I draft Allen at the end of round 3? You bet your bottom dollar I do. Or at the end of 2. You bet your bottom dollar I do. While your box score Bobby or your content creator Caleb is going, don't take it early quarterback, Smitty. Are you out of your mind? You know that everybody in the industry, Smitty, doesn't take an early quarterback. You're the only one that talks about it year after year after year when quarterbacks can win leagues. Does anybody understand the apples for apples comparison that I give with this situation over and over? It doesn't matter that there's quarterbacks for days in a draft. It doesn't matter. Here's your round 1, your 3, your 4, your 5, your 6. Maybe, maybe there's a chance that I don't like who's falling to my second round pick in the bottom of round 2. Maybe I went lamb chops at the top. Maybe I don't like what wide receivers are there. Maybe none of the running backs are there that I want. Maybe Achane and Kyren got snagged. Or maybe one of them's left and I go Kyren in round 3 and I go Allen round 2 because I know Allen's got a higher likelihood of getting snagged over Kyren because everyone's scared to death of Kyren. I'm really scared of this guy, Kyren Williams. Why? Want me to show you the science and data as to why Kyren's going to explode?
He's Kyren, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyren, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
I'll take Allen all day long at the bottom of round 2 if I don't like the wide receivers that are falling, if I don't like the RBs, or I know I can get one of the RBs like Achane or Kyren. I'll take this all day long. But Smitty, you could take a Nico Collins right here. Smitty, you could take a Diggs or someone else of that caliber. Smitty, a questionable wide receiver that shouldn't be going in round 2. Even Neighbors. I like Neighbors, but he doesn't belong in round 2. You can say what you want. He's got amazing hands. He plays for the New York Giants, and Danny Dimes is his quarterback. And every great throw you see him catching in practice right now is from a lock or other quarterback practically. So what are you going to do when Danny Dimes gets on the field and starts to run the ball and throws a bunch of hospital balls in the direction of Neighbors? Give me Allen all day long. You take Nico. I'll take Allen. Where you take your... I don't know, your quarterback 1 in round, let's say 6 or 7. I'll circle back and get my monster. Let me read off a couple wide receivers that go in the territory of quarterback that you're going to select, so we can apples for apples comparison this bad boy properly, because too many people run their mouth about this one-sided argument that quarterbacks are deep, they fall very late, you're wasting a pick on an early quarterback. Wasting a pick on the number 1 overall player in fantasy football, Josh Allen? Wasting the number 1 overall pick on Josh Allen? Is that what I just heard? Right now, Josh Allen, we're going to 6th round territory. Let's say you do grab a quarterback you like. Let's even say you're going after even cigar smoking Joe Burrow, who's going in the 81 territory. Let's see if I can find myself a couple wide receivers and running backs in the 80s that I love just as much. Give me JSN. Give me Jamison Williams. Give me potentially at the RB position at that territory at 75, 80 overall. We're talking about a running back like Najee Harris, Jonathan Brooks, Zamir White. I kind of like the RBs a little more than I like that. So if someone were to take even, let's say, a running back in round 2 would be someone like, let's call it, the running backs are going to thin out. We might have to just compare wide receiver to it. Let's give this person a very good wide receiver that everybody seems to be drafting like crazy. Adams. An Adams or an Ayuk. Adams or Ayuk or Nico. Give me Josh Allen and give me Zamir White. And I have a better duo than you. If this is my flex, so be it. Whatever. If we're going wide receiver, I could say someone like Jaden Reed, who potentially could fall. He might not fall that far. You never know. McLaurin goes a little earlier. Jaden Reed's right around this territory sometimes. Calvin Ridley's around this territory. You give me Josh Allen and one of those wide receivers over Adams or Nico in your 7th round QB all day long. That's what people need to understand and at least look at when they're going, oh, this early quarterback's such a garbage move. Josh Allen is a phenom. Josh Allen's a monster. Josh Allen's a win-a-league player. And if anybody thinks Josh Allen's not worth a late 2nd round pick in certain circumstances, you don't know what you're... Jordan Love, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but I want to rehash a couple of these real quickly just so people are aware of what's going on. Jordan Love is optimistic in getting a contract extension done by training camp, which opens the door to a Dak deal or closes the door on a Dak deal. This is very, very contingent on what happens before him, or Dak's deal will be contingent on Love. It's tough to say. If Jerry's smart, he'll sign Dak before Jordan Love gets a bag. Now, Jordan Love could sign something lower than we expect, and then that helps the Cowboys get a deal done. You never know. Could be a blessing in disguise to wait. But my guess is Love will get a bigger deal than Goff got. And so then you're looking at, Jordan Love money is what you're going to be calling that. We called it Christian Kirk money back in the day when Christian Kirk reset the wide receiver market single-handedly. And now Jordan Love, you're going to get Jordan Loved. And we're going to get that Jordan Love money. Big contract coming, and it'll definitely set the tone for the Dak Prescott deal. But what it could do is trigger Jerry to just overpay. Be like, Jerry's going to go, oh, well, we're going to have to pay. It's going to get worse. Let's go ahead and sign Dak right now off of the Jordan Love contract. You never know what's going on in Jerry's mind and Jerry's world. Kelsey's going to try and play past his 2-year contract. He says he knows he's not a spring chicken. He's closer to the end than the beginning, but he does feel that the end is still far away. We'll see how he plays this year. We kind of gave up on him last year a little bit, right? But I don't know. I think he's going to be rejuvenated to a degree with his relationship calming down, Cloud 9 dropping. But if he gets in some sort of breakup and he's torn up about it, he could get pulled right back into a whirlwind of feelings, and who the hell knows where he's going to be. Is he going to be on the Eras tour? Where is he going to be? I blame his wife for this whole schedule, where we've got the entire overseas schedule probably hinging on the Eras tour. Joe Burrow elbow said he'll be ready to go by the season. We're not worried about that. He's being honest. He's out there, gunslinging. So there's nothing wrong there, specifically with Joe Burrow. So don't worry about that. We've got this Keon Coleman news. He signed his second year wide receiver second round wide receiver to a 4-year deal. This is a kid that I think is going to walk straight into a whole boatload of targets. He could be an elite wide receiver 3 in fantasy as a rookie. He could be rookie number 2 from the wide receiver pool in 2024. I'm not saying he's going to beat out Neighbors for the long-term value of wide receiver 2 from this 2024 draft class, but this is a kid that can be the wide receiver 2 in redraft for all the rookie wide receivers, and he is a quick learner. He's a hard worker. In Josh Allen's own mouth, these words came out: "You're the guy I wanted to throw footballs to over any other wide receiver in the draft class." That's some high praise, and that's amazing to hear. And the floodgates are wide open for this kid to just consume targets over targets. That's the Keon Coleman news. We've got this little beauty here. Tyrone Tracy, the oldest running back in the league already, and he's a rookie. Ziggy, how old is Tyrone Tracy Jr.?
The 1075th FM.
Okay.
Tyrone Tracy Jr., 24, caught the eyes of many scouts, general managers, and coaches with his athleticism.
Ziggy off. 24-year-old rookie. This guy, he's got 2 years left. Ziggy, shut up. Ziggy off. This is interesting because he's an old dog. Like, this is crazy. But he's a very talented guy. And in this system, a lot of people talking Singletary. A lot of people think Singletary is going to be the guy. I think this guy's a very, very solid 1-year prospect, right? Kind of like Spears is a solid 1 to 2 year prospect. Why am I dogging my boy Spears, who's a mid-season monster? We love Spears. There's no hate here. We love Spears. Look it. Spears is right here on the mid-season monster list. Tracy might need to be on the mid-season monster list. Why is Spears on the mid-season monster list? Because he is a sleeping giant player for 2024, and he was fantastic last year. The reason he's not a long-term option for me is because he only has one ACL. One of his ACLs is missing from his body. Where's my knee when I need it? One of his ACLs is missing. That's a PCL and an ACL on the back of this model here, which is really in the middle of the knee. It's just showing you on the back. This guy, the ACL is responsible for keeping that knee joint tight. Now, if you've got strong quads and you've got some unusual muscles that kind of wrap around the knee, you've adjusted and adapted your whole entire life, and you're functioning well without the ACL. Doesn't mean that your knee isn't more susceptible to tearing everything in it because it's not as sound and the structure of it isn't as tight. So if this guy takes a shot to the knee, his knee's gonna rip. See this right here? This is your MCL. This is your LCL right here. And your MCL is a very painful, probably the most painful ligament to tear in your knee. This is your patellar tendon, your PCL, your MCL, and then you got your meniscus in between the knee. When you don't have that tight-fitting knee and a helmet comes, if it's tight, you might actually weather through it. Nothing tears. If you've got some lax in here and the knee's going like this because there's no ACL, these ligaments are taking strain that they might not normally take if it's got some stability pulling it down from the middle. So Tyjae Spears is definitely at risk of having some knee injuries. I don't love the long-term value. He is a midseason monster, though. Tyrone Tracy's 24 years old. Like Spears, I've got a 2-year shelf life of excitement for him, and then I'm probably moving on. But doesn't mean we don't love him for this coming season. If you're in a best ball draft, Tyrone Tracy's going literally in the second to last round, I believe. This is a fantastic running back to take. I think he very much could take the job away from Singletary at some point. I didn't even read the news on screen. USA Today's Art Stapleton believes that running back Tyrone Tracy Jr. is making a push to be the Giants' passing back on passing downs. This guy's already, as a rookie, looking to take control of the passing game opportunities, and that's really where Singletary's part of his, intrigue is, right? He's a good receiving back. In college, he came in as one of those guys that felt like he could be Alvin Kamara-esque in a way, and so that's not good. That's not good for Devin Singletary. Tyrone Tracy looking like he's a real big sleeper candidate from a one-year shot perspective. Amari Cooper is not in attendance during the second day of Browns minicamp. This has ramifications like you can't believe. You got Higgins, you got Ayuk, you got these wide receivers holding out for that St. Brown money. These wide receivers holding out for that $77 million guaranteed. Guaranteed. That's a G. Guaranteed. That's what you're looking for. $77 million guaranteed. The Niners aren't looking to pay even 60, 65 probably. Ayuk's deal is almost done from even being a conversation anymore. Who knows? Maybe they trade Debo, open up the books, and then give Ayuk his deal. That's kind of what I'm thinking has to happen. Amari Cooper, I don't think Amari Cooper. Ziggy, how old is Amari Cooper? Damn it. Ziggy, how old is Amari Cooper? You SOB.
Amari Cooper is 29 years old.
Good
He was
Lord.
born on June 17, 1994.
This guy turns in 5 days. In 5 days, he turns 30 years old. 30 years old. This guy ain't getting, maybe he gets it though. That's the way the NFL is, right? We think we know something about age, and then a team comes in like the Browns and says, here's a 5-year deal. Here's a 4. Who knows? Who knows? We might be coming back in here going, holy shit. This guy got a $65 million guaranteed deal. Here's the crazy part. If he does somehow, some way get an extension, he's not going to get this $77 million guaranteed. He's just not. It's going to be something in the 50s probably, or 40s, which the Niners will look at and say, That's what we're talking about. We're going with that. That's what we're giving you, Ayuk. And Ayuk's going to go, holy no. We got to hope that Ayuk doesn't look at this Amari Cooper deal if it's in the 50s or something and say, you know what, okay. You don't want that. You don't want him accepting that garbage offer. I mean, maybe the Niner fans do want him locked up, but I'd rather him get traded somewhere else than to accept some BS offer that he's more than deserving of. Okay, Amari Cooper, so we'll find out. 30 years old. He turns 30 in a couple days. C'est la vie. You got maybe 2 years left if you're lucky, probably 1 if the Browns give you. Look, we're talking about the Cleveland Browns. I'm sorry if I've got Brown fans. I love you. I'm not mad at my Browns fans, but good God. If anybody's going to give somebody a bad contract, it's the Cleveland Browns. Look at the $230 million deal that this guy got. Deshaun Watson, who is barely, they make it a big report whenever he throws the football. There's always some sort of news clipping that says, Deshaun Watson was spotted throwing the ball today. Threw the ball 3 times. Deshaun Watson, didn't throw the ball today. Hey, Deshaun Watson threw the ball today 4 times. These reports are weird. Deshaun Watson was seen throwing the ball at practice today. You keep hearing it. Deshaun Watson, $230 million. The Browns giving Cooper at 30 years old some big fat extension is not out of the realm of possibility, but good Lord, he does not deserve that bag. He's a good player. He's still got some juice left. No problem, no doubt. Derrick Henry, we already talked about that. I think I might be caught up on the news. I'm not positive. Jordan Love, I think we're good. Did I already cover this piece of news? Jordan Love, there's that one. I think I'm all set. Let me just scroll through my news clippings here. Tyrone Tracy, Keon Coleman. Oh, yeah. There's another one. Jonathan Brooks. Dave Canales said, rookie running back Jonathan Brooks' knee may be ready for the start of training camp. may not be ready for the start of training camp. This is not what we wanted to hear, but I think this could be a blessing in disguise. It doesn't mean that he's not going to be ready for week 1. It doesn't mean he's not going to explode during his rookie year, but he doesn't appear to be ahead of schedule by a mile is what we wanted to hear. Doesn't mean he's necessarily behind schedule. So not being ready for the start of training camp just means we got to wait and see before we start pumping the hell out of this value and start, grabbing him everywhere. I'm not taking him off the Moon Man list. He is a Moon Man.
The Moon Man, dropping loads in outer space.
Not taking him off the Moon Man list. I'm just not doing it. But I do think that this is a potential opportunity. His ADP right now on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. If anybody wants to draft during most of the midnight shows where we do draft, please hit this link. Sign up now so you're not scrambling to get in later. The link has just been dropped. I'll pin the link in the live chat. Hit that Underdog link now. Sign up. $10 will get you a $5 match. 50% they'll match your first deposit. If you do, that's the minimum, $10, so they'll give you $5. You'll have $15 to play with. If you do 100, they'll give you 50. If you do 500, they'll give you 250, all the way up to that 250. So hit that link and get signed up and ready because we drafted most midnights. But Jonathan Brooks not be ready. It's concerned. And you look at his ADP and you say to yourself, okay, this man's going at running back. Well, let me tell you the ADP first of all. Jonathan Brooks, ADP 86 overall. Very, very good value. Very good value. Running back number 22. I venture to say this news drops him into the 95 range. So he drops almost a full round, or at least like 80% of a round. And I think he probably drops to like running back 25. This is good news if you do believe in him. This is good news if you're okay waiting on him. This is good news if your expectation is that he's not going to, blow up in week 1 necessarily. I'm still buying Jonathan Brooks. This is still very, very good value proposition in my opinion. You got that piece of news. I think that might be everything. Let me just scan through everything that I've screen grabbed. Nope, here's another one. Luke McCaffrey, Commanders, has taken handoffs during the team's minicamp. This is a very talented kid with a great pedigree. I mean, his brother's Christian McCaffrey, if you didn't know. And he's kind of like a convert from he's a converted quarterback / wide receiver running back type of hybrid. So he gives the ability to throw the ball. I don't know that he was the best thrower, but he's definitely going to be better than the average receiver throwing the football. So he's fantastic for, some sort of trick play. I almost guarantee you he throws a touchdown this year. I can almost, not all the way guarantee, but almost guarantee that he throws a touchdown this year. Someone remind me. I'll put Luke McCaffrey on my arms with marker, a fake tattoo during a live stream. If he doesn't throw a touchdown pass, somebody remember this. I don't know if Ron's out there, the elephant brain. Somebody with an elephant brain, remember this. If Luke McCaffrey doesn't throw a touchdown pass this year, I will write Luke McCaffrey on my arms, make myself a little marker sleeve, and I just can envision it happening. He's a really, really good late round Underdog Fantasy wide receiver. Again, Underdog, that link has been pinned in the live chat. Make sure you click it and sign up. We'll be drafting at midnight most nights going forward until kickoff. We'll be doing that. But Luke McCaffrey's going around, I would say, roughly, give or take, what you're looking at with your ADP data and where you're drafting. But he's going right around, he's going late. He's going so far down. 183 overall, which is wide receiver 80. This is a guy that's been working with JD5 as Ben Sinnott has been. And so Ben Sinnott, the rookie tight end for Washington, these are the guys that have been there from the beginning, working, building rapport. It's always whenever you see a rookie wide receiver and a rookie wide receiver and a rookie quarterback come up together, the reason they have such a good rapport is they've been working since rookie camp. Right, so they've got this connection from the start. They're also both learning together. There's like a bond that happens. So Luke McCaffrey's got a nice little advantage, not over McLaurin, not over Dotson, but an advantage in terms of he doesn't have to try and build that rapport. He's already got it right now, and the fact that he's taking handoffs means that. Think about it for 1 second. What is the tie from the 49ers over to the Washington Commanders? It's not a coach, but it is the GM. And Adam Peters is the one that single-handedly identified this man as being worthy of taking, even though he's kind of a project and he's a converted quarterback, and that doesn't always work out. And the Washington Commanders have experience. Remember, Antonio Gibson was kind of a lost soul in the college realm in terms of, was he a running back? Was he a wide receiver? He had very little work in both categories. He literally did not have much work at all. Like, you're talking about a guy that had like 30 carries and 30 receptions in his final season. Gibson did not get used in college, and they drafted him to be a starter in the NFL. So Washington has experience with throwing guys like this into their lineup. Now, it's a different team, different regime, different coaching staff. I get all that, different GM. But Adam Peters, who had a hand in selecting pretty much every elite talent on this 49er roster you currently see, down to Kittle, down to Purdy, this guy Adam Peters, he came over and hand-selected Luke McCaffrey, and you got to wonder, do they envision him playing in a similar role as, I don't want to say he's Debo, I'm not saying that, but do they want to use him? He's getting handoffs, so clearly he is being used somewhat like Debo, who no one's saying he is Debo, no one's saying he's ever going to develop into anything, but he's a fantastic late-round grab, and I just love the prospect. I think he's got it, and he has the pedigree. The Niner connection to McCaffrey, the fact that he's taking handoffs like Debo, the fact that his GM is Adam Peters, the Niners, assistant GM last year. I mean, how many more dots do we have to connect that he has a shot at his 183 overall ADP of being something worth taking a stab on? So if you don't hear what I'm saying, why don't you replay the video, get the earwax out of your ear, and stop thinking that I'm saying something that I'm not. I like him. He's got a lot of upside is all I'm trying to tell you. You can listen or you cannot listen. That's up to you. We are done with the news segment. Ladies and gentlemen, you can now dial into the phone line. The phone lines are open.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial into the show if you know what you want to talk about. I would prefer, as usual, you try and keep it on topic, at least initially, instead of getting your greedy little hands in the cookie jar and being like, hey, Smitty, I know that we're talking about all this, but can you tell me about kickers real quick? Calvin Krim with a $5 hauler, Ray G with a $5 hauler, Rock Out with a $2 hauler. My monster's coming in strong from the jump here. Rock Out, do you got a new single for me, Rock Out? Give me, Rock Out, I need something along the lines of fly JD5 to the moon so he can dance among the stars. You know that song? Look it up before you do it. I want to hear the beat. It's Fly Me to the Moon. I want that old school beat of JD5. Hit me on the DMs, Rock Out. Rock Out says, Smitty, not 205 pounds. You will look skinny, JK. I think I might look skinny, but I'll be cut, and I will be 205. Mark my words. At least 210. I'm going to cut down to 210. I'm about 229 right now. I was at 220 like one. I would say like a year and a half ago. I definitely put on the LBs instead of, I want to be a cut mean 209. I want to be right on a smidge under 210. If I can't get to 205, I want to be 210. And if I'm a cut 210, I'm going to look like a different man. I'm going to look like slender, but I'll be fit. I'll be Lamar size. Okay. No, I'll be JD5 size. He is probably a smidge taller than me. I think he's 6'4", but he's 6'3 3/4 or whatever he is. I'm 6'2 and a half. But I want to weigh what JD5 weighs, 210. Hey, Smitty, people are scared to draft Henry because of his age, and my response to that is cuff him with Keaton Mitchell. Henry plus Mitchell is a top 5 running back. Don't be so quick to feel like Keaton Mitchell is the cuff, though. Later on, when they need to use a cuff, sure. And you might be right on this at the end of the day, and I'm not scared of this. What I would probably do, though, just to give you a league-winning salvation type move for you, Calvin, make this move, and then because he's injured and he's not going to be ready, Keaton Mitchell's not going to be ready for week 1. He's just not. He's not even close to ready. That's the problem. But you can put him on IR and then pick up Ali, the rookie backup, and then you're covered. You have all three, but you've got Keaton Mitchell on IR, not taking up a roster spot, and you've still got Derrick Henry cuffed. You could also look at Hill. If you believe Hill's the backup, that's fine too. I'm kind of a preemptive guy, and I kind of feel like, do I think Hill needs to be used now? No. So do I feel like it's better to just go after the eventual handcuff? Then I'm going to say go after the eventual handcuff. And my prediction is it will be Ali at some point or Keith Mitchell. So not a bad idea. Just make sure you use that kind of thinking with this particular situation. Ray G with a $5 hauler. I'm currently in a DK. We don't talk about DK over here, Ray G. I drafted Chase and Achan. I will let you know later on if I get Kyron. Attaboy, Ray G. Appreciate you. Okay, anyway, thank you for your super chats, all of you, you monsters. Phone lines open. Dial in, dial in, dial in. Let me put the phone number on screen for anybody that wants to dial in and have a good time. Your boy is ready to have conversation with you. Conversations that linger and range around the topics at hand, but also the ones you might need. So dial in, do it live. Phone number's right here again.
Call into the show.
Call into the Attic.shop phone line. The Attic.shop. Get your apparel from the Attic.shop. This is the best clothing I've ever put on in my life. This Sprite Zero is pretty good, I have to say. Like, I'm trying to cut back or altogether quit drinking the Mexican Cokes, but they're hard to give up. But I have to say, between this the Sprite Zero and the Mountain Dew Zero, and then maybe an occasional vitamin water, because that gives me the sugar I need, and it's definitely the same amount of calories as like a Coke, the vitamin water, but it's probably a lot better for you because that Coke is maybe eating a hole through your stomach lining, right? So I think I could cut back a ton by having like a vitamin water or two, and I like the yellow energy version. That's my favorite one. I think it tastes really good. And then a couple of these a day, and then I'm cutting back on like 800 calories, maybe 1,000. I drink a lot of the Mexican Coke. That's probably why I weigh what I weigh. It's probably all Mexican soda. It's good. What can I say? All the Zero stuff is the same, just as bad, but is labeled different. Not entirely true, John, because maybe it's not great for you, but it's all about losing the weight, John. I'm not too worried about that. I'm drinking a soda. You know what I'm saying? It's a Zero, but it's all about dropping the LBs, John. No faith in the Raiders offense. No faith in the Raiders offense factor for Bowers. Offense, the factor. I don't know what you're saying, Matto. You might want to run that back. We got another super chat from Deckard. Deckard dropping fire. One spot left in Deckard's $3. Look, Deckard, I appreciate that. Go to the Patreon if you're there. Use code Smitty. Maybe I'll drop the links from now on, Deckard. It's going to take a while to fill them if we don't do it, especially with the code Smitty. So if you're on the Patreon, go to Deckard's post under the best ball and click on his link. But if you haven't signed up, use code Smitty, please. Soda is equivalent to a cig. I don't know that I agree with that, bro, at all. I don't agree with that at all. You're putting fire in your lungs, bro. Who taught you that? Maybe like weight wise. I know people lose weight when they. I don't know what you're saying. I don't even know what you're saying. You know what? I don't need any online trainers right now. I got it under control. But I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you. Let me scan the news real quick and see if anything else is popping up. There's some stuff I thought might be breaking soon. JSN reports JSN left Wednesday's practice earlier with a shoulder issue. It's early. We don't even know what that means. Let me put it on screen here. Good Lord. Be okay, JSN. Be okay, JSN. Come on. Damn it. We haven't had an injury yet. Like, we've been kind of like flying high, right? Very little football is happening. No one can even get hurt. And then now all of a sudden we got our first injury here. Seattle Times, Bob. Yeah, of course it's a Bob. A Bob from Seattle Times says Seahawks wide receiver JSN left Wednesday's practice early with a shoulder injury. I'll keep you posted on that. Not good. Maybe not bad, but it's not good. We'll find out. Brian Robinson, Washington Post Sam Fortier, or whatever the hell his name is, reports that the Commanders' OC Cliff Kingsbury is using a two-back set in minicamp. Kingsbury is experimenting with Brian Robinson and Eckler on the same field. I love the idea of this because I think Eckler, I'm not sold on Brian Robinson being a guy I necessarily want in my fantasy football lineup. I'm not saying he's going to have a bad year. He's in a great offense, so maybe I come around on that. Maybe I end up really liking Brian Robinson. I don't know. It's possible. I'm not writing it off. I'm reserving the right to change my mind. But what I do want is Austin Eckler to be used like his old self. Throw the ball to Austin Eckler. Throw the ball to Austin Eckler. Get him a bunch of receptions. Do what the Ravens might do with Derrick Henry. You're going to get him a lower amount of yardage than anybody really wants, but you're going to give him other opportunities. In Derrick Henry's case, it's going to be touchdowns, goal line work, and some receptions. In Eckler's case, it'll be a lot more receptions. So throw the damn ball to Austin Eckler. Get him out there, explosive player. I believe he was injured all last year. Like the one thing we got to remember with Eckler is he was injured all last year. Now, granted, being 30 years or 28 years old last year, now 29, you're susceptible to injury more than you were at a younger age. 28 is a hold your breath year, and Austin Eckler failed. He failed to stay healthy, but if he can get healthy and he looks healthy, he's doing pull-ups with a 50-pound weight attached to his legs, and he's cranking them out. This guy's an absolute monster, just going like this. I showed a video clip of it on my Instagram. He's still very, very fit, very in shape, and I'm pretty excited about the opportunity at what is a very, very late running back like 4. So I'm kind of okay with this right here, and I think it gives Eckler an opportunity. Jalen McMillan, Baker Mayfield described Jalen McMillan, we call him McMillions, as explosive, smooth route runner. 3 times with number ones and 3 wide receivers, Mike Evans, Trey Palmer, undisclosed injury, sidelined. I like McMillan a lot. I think McMillan is somebody that everybody should be targeting. He's Moon Man capable, or he's more like midseason monster capable. He truly is. If I had to decide between Burton and McMillan, they're both very, very similar players in that they're late grabs. They both are thought to be players that dropped significantly in the draft due to either injury or character concern or what have you. And so there's a lot of opportunity for us to be able to snag these guys. What is going on there? What's that sound? Well, is someone blowing their nose, or was that somebody getting some ice out of the ice machine? What is going on?
No, I opened my door.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry about that.
So draft McMillan. I like Burton a little more, but I like McMillan about as much talent-wise, but the situation isn't quite as good. Bruce, you're live. What can I do for you, pal?
Hey, I got a question. With all the talk about Eckler and Henry, which one would you prefer to have, or is it like either or is fine?
Of Eckler or who?
Henry.
Eckler or Henry? Bruce, this is like the second. I love you. I don't want you to not call in. I don't want you to feel like I'm yelling at you. But this is the second time now you've asked me just a wild question. Like, Eckler's going in like the 8th or 9th round. Henry's a 3rd to 4th round turn player.
Oh, I just meant by like if I'm gonna take an older back, which one should I?
The guy that we just did the beginning of the show about, that he's going to crush, and he's going in the 3rd and 4th round. Eckler is a project player now for your team in hopes that he gets like enough work to be somewhat relevant. Derrick Henry can be a top 10 running back. We got to talk about this. I forgot about the Sam Darnold news and the JJ on screen. We haven't addressed that yet, but let me real quickly go over to my running back board. I can't expect you to watch everything, Bruce. You're a busy guy, but I did do a running back ranking video, and this is my redraft running back rankings for 2024, and Derrick Henry's number 10. You know who's not even close to even being mentioned, even in the group of players that is fighting for like 11 through 18? Austin Eckler. He's not even a top 20 overall running back this year. He's a very nice addition to the end of your bench in hopes that you get some sort of surprise player. But Henry's a top 10 running back. So this question is not even in the. This is like in the Spider-Verse. Maybe something's going on differently for you than it's going on for us. But in our world, Bruce, Henry's a top 10 running back, and Eckler, we forget he's in the league sometimes. We have to remind ourselves. But but it was a good, not good question. Thank you, Bruce. Hang tight. Don't go anywhere, Bruce. I'm cook up something new. Okay, start over.
All right.
John, you're live.
Hey, now that the ADP has changed a little bit, are there any other players you're taking out the late rounds outside of the ones we've already talked about?
I mean, give me a ADP because that's a vague question. It's like saying, at some point, is the sun going to be out tomorrow? What?
Last two rounds.
Last two rounds? Just give me an ADP range, like the 200 to 220. Like anywhere past 200?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Anywhere below 200.
Okay. I'll even start at like 180. How's that? 180. So I love Likely. I love Luke McCaffrey. He's at 183. Above that, you've got okay. So we'll keep going down. Braylon Allen at 189. Love that value. That's fantastic. Tyrone Tracy. We just talked about him. He's fantastic in the final round. If you let's say you went 3 or 4 RBs in yours, or 4 RBs and you need one more. Like, he's not bad. He could get some work. It's getting thin, bro. Like that's a Justin Fields at 200. I love that. Obviously, Jelani Woods is interesting as a tight end option. Keaton Mitchell again would be not in best ball maybe best ball, but he's gonna probably be out for a big portion of the year, so he'd be an IR candidate. And then you pick up Ali, the rookie. Jalen Hyatt at like 212 is interesting. I think Will Shipley, if he gets the job, the backup role in Philly, he's interesting at 213. I think Isaac Guerrero is still fantastic at 214. Nothing's changed there. I know I might be repeating some guys, but I'm just trying to give you everybody I can think of from 200 down, which I think will be helpful. So let me just keep rolling. I've got one of my favorite, picks. I guess would be, where's Penix Jr.? He's still down here a ways, I believe. Yeah, there he is. 215. I love that. In best ball, I love it. I'm scooping him up in best ball drafts at that territory. Don't go too early. Just grab him if he's there. That's about like the end of the road, bro. There's not a whole lot other than McMillan and Burton, who's going a lot higher than McMillan. But those guys are a little bit higher than that, I believe. Let me see where McMillan's going. This news today won't help, where Baker described him as, explosive and smooth. That probably, keep him on people's minds, I guess. But McMillan's going around 207. So actually, I must have missed him when I was scrolling through. 207. That's really good. And Burton is going at number... Should be going a little higher. Javon Baker at 185. Burton's probably going, damn, is he going? He's going significantly higher now. He is climbing. Holy, what? 148. I mean, that's still good value, to be honest with you. But like wide receiver 70, he climbed like, I don't know, 10 spots maybe? 10 wide receiver spots? I don't know. That would be my assessment of the 200 plus value grabs, bro.
I appreciate it. I got one more question. If you draft AR5,
if I draft AR, you mean when I draft AR5?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you draft it.
Thank you.
Are you taking the backup, Joe Flacco, late?
Let me ask you a question, John. Just be honest with me, okay? I won't get mad. Do I look stupid? I won't get mad. Do I look stupid? I won't get mad.
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, why would I take Joe Flacco? The amount of quarterbacks that are available, my guy, are and I mean this with passion. I'm not mad at you. I'm just trying to emphasize my point, okay? So don't take offense to it. But you're talking about at QB, good Lord, at QB what? We're at 14, 15, we're like at the Brock Purdy stage. Tua, Goff, Herbert, Cousins, Matthew Stafford, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Levis, Bryce Young. You got the Russell Wilson and Fields stack. You got Penix Jr. You know, like, at what point did you screw the pooch over and over and over to the point where you got to pick up Flacco? Like, hell no. You got so many opportunities, bro, to smash. John, smash, bro. I want you smashing. I don't want you skating along with the Joe Flacco. That guy, even if he got in there, how many games would he play? He folded in the playoffs like we knew he would. And I don't even know that I would ever consider rostering him. Be more prepared than that. Don't get caught with your pants down and have Joe Flacco as your quarterback. I don't care what he did in a small spurt of time last year. Last year's last year. Last year, remember when is the most boring form of conversation? That is Tony Soprano. There's no better quote in the world. All right, John, hang tight. Don't go anywhere. Think up a new question. I appreciate you, pal. Let me go over to Theo, then back to Brucey. Theo, you're live.
Are you believing this Javonte Williams news that just came out?
Them
saying Jaleel McLaughlin looks like the top Denver running back.
I mean,
them asking if Javonte will even make the team.
I hope he doesn't. That could be the best thing that ever happened to Javonte Williams. He needs to get out of that situation, but I don't know that I buy it, but I know that I don't. The reason I don't know that I don't is because I don't know that any of us can predict what in the hell is going on in the mind of Peyton. And honestly, I know this is going to be hard to hear for Denver fans, but the fact that this guy did what he did to Russell Wilson, I don't trust him at all. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. This guy is a weasel to me. He's an absolute imbecile and a what's the best word? I don't know. An untrustworthy person. In my mind, in my opinion. Because this is a coach that went to Russell Wilson when he was starting to cook a little bit. Russell doesn't cook like he used to. No one's fooled by that, okay? But he started to cook, and Sean Payton called him into the office, and he said, sit down. I want you to take away in your contract that you earned and worked, and your agent and you put it together so beautifully. I want you to take away your injury clause or I'm benching you. That was so corrupt. And I don't trust a word that comes out of his mouth. In a press conference about Javonte last offseason, he even told you don't believe a word that comes out of my mouth. Verbatim, practically. He said, when someone said, is Javonte going to be on the PUP? Remember last year? He was at the podium doing a press conference, and he goes, I don't know if he'll be on the PUP or if he won't be on the PUP. And to be honest with you, I don't know if what I tell you will actually be what's going on anyway. Why would I give you that information? So you know right there, you can't trust a single word that comes out of his mouth, nor can you trust his ethics or what he's trying to do with that QB room or wide receiver room. I think Sean Payton might have just jumped the shark. Not everybody can come back and be what they once were. Think of John Gruden and him in his prime and how he's tried to come back and it hasn't worked. Maybe Bill Belichick comes back and it doesn't work. Maybe Sean Payton won't work. Sometimes being a great coach is a mix of you being a good coach, but you also have a good scenario. Just like Harbaugh in LAC. I'm not saying it won't work, but from what I'm watching right now unfold before my very eyes, which I feel like I'm the only one with a megaphone at least, or a speaker, or a YouTube channel that's questioning what in the hell is going on in LAC because they're destroying the team. And everybody says, from the trenches, from the trenches, man. You don't understand. I understand completely. Completely. You don't have to Harbaugh-splain me or Herbert-splain me. I know what's going on. I understand football. I understand football before I understand fantasy. I am not your fantasy guys don't know. No, I know more than the non-fantasy guy that says, the fantasy guy. Because I got to know football inside and out and know the fantasy side and do the projections and the predictions. There's more going on in this head than somebody that's only focused on football. But I can tell you this right now. What's going on in LAC? It shouldn't be happening. What's going on in LAC should be happening on top of having a Derrick Henry, on top of also keeping Keenan Allen, on top of maybe keeping Eckler, potentially, maybe not. You should have thought about bringing in a Henry or somebody. This is an absolute different team than it should be. I don't care what anybody says. You can still draft Joe Alt if you want. My theory and my way of building this team doesn't necessarily have to have that change. So you don't need to run that out there. Smitty, you don't understand. He runs the ball. He's got a natty. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you to say who are you to me about you and me? Let me go over to so I don't, as far as long-winded answer, Javonte, let's cut him. Let's cut him. Send him over to Dallas.
Yeah.
Send him over to Dallas. Let's do it live.
Do it live.
All right, hold on, Theo. Let me go over to Travis Rowe. You're live. Marsman Travis.
Yeah, I'm praying Javonte gets out of there because it's going to be a mess. And like, I even like Jaleel. You know, he showed a little bit last year, but I wouldn't touch any of them unless like the season starts and they have a clear role. Because like even last year, I know people said, oh, it's because he was easing Javonte back into things, but he was just rotating backs. You know, he had was it P Ryan? Was he the one there too? P Ryan and Leo and Javonte, and it was just a mess. You could never predict it. And like Javonte would have a game where he'd go like, you know, like 11 for 73 with a touchdown, and you go, okay, here we go. And then the next game, he got like 4 carries, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just it's impossible to know what's going on.
Yeah. And you don't even know. And to somebody saying that Joe Alt, like, yeah, this Joe Alt thing. John, what kind of work do you do again? You don't have to tell us where. What kind of work is it?
Are you asking me, John? Bob John?
Yes, John.
Yeah, finance.
Finance. Okay, so you know finance. Do you know like any web development?
Nope, don't do that.
Okay, so how about you're one of the best finance guys out there, let's say, and I'm going to bring you in, but I'm going to put you on the web development team. That's what they're doing at LAC. Joe Alt, let's bring him in. Let's move him over here. He's good though. He's good. He's a quick learner. He could play quarterback if he wanted. That's something that Harbaugh would say. Harbaugh yesterday when he was, good God, I feel like I'm the only one questioning what's going on. I feel like later people will be like, man, we should have saw the signs, and I'm going to be saying we did. That Herbert skill. No one thinks he's going to play him at tight end. Bruce did. Bruce called. No offense, Bruce. You called in last night. You're like, do you think he's going to use him like Taysom Hill because of his comments? No, he's not. He doesn't mean he's going to use Herbert, but he said this yesterday, this wild statement, this rambling he does. Herbert, he's so talented. He could be edge rusher on this team. We could put him at edge rusher. We could put him at tight end. We could put him in the marketing department. This guy can cook up some marketing like I've never seen in my life. He could be a web developer. Herbert could be the president of the United States, if you ask me. I really truly think that, Herbert can do anything he wants. I've seen this guy talk. He could be a president of the United States. I once walked on water. Let me tell you a story about when I walked on water. This guy absolutely just rambles. There are a lot of Harbaugh defenders that get really mad when I talk about the Chargers, especially Charger fans in here. Like, they just go to war for him. They're like, God, what are you talking about? He's got a natty. He's got a natty, bro. He's got a natty. He's also no longer in college. And I know the last time he did coach in the NFL, it was a while ago. And I've already explained that a lot of players had gotten a lot tired of that rah-rah mentality that he does so much. I mean, ask him anything. Hey, Harbaugh, you want a coffee from Starbucks? We're gonna make a run. Starbucks? You know Starbucks? You know you can put a Starbucks in a microwave, turn it on 40 seconds, it'll blow up, turn into a pumpkin? Anyway. Who was I talking to? Travis? Travis, what were you saying?
Oh, no, I was just saying about the Denver situation. Just, you can't trust it until you see it, and even after you see it, you might not be able to trust it. Like, I don't even, like, I think Bo Nix will be the quarterback there, but would it surprise you if did it where Zach Wilson was starting week 1? Not all that much. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
just,
I do
you have
really.
no idea.
I do really like Bo Nix a lot.
Bo Nix.
I do like him. I just don't really know what we're looking at in terms of this situation in general.
He fits the Peyton system and what Peyton likes to do on offense, but can Peyton still do it?
Okay,
That's
we got a rock out rap right here. I'm hoping this is "Fly Me to the Moon."
Fly J5 to the moon and dance along the stars. He will be top 5 and rise all year long.
I love it. Rock out with another winner. Nothing is better than this screwing touchdowns one though.
Give me my cup. Screwing touchdown, down. In the 4th round. Give me my cup.
Screwing touchdowns. But yeah, no, that was good. We might have to incorporate that JD5 one. That's a good one there, Rock Out. Appreciate you. Rock Out is a songbird of the generation. Absolute songbird. Someone wants to know if there's auto-tune in there. Rock Out. They think you're cheating. All right, let's see if there's auto-tune on this. Hold on.
Fly J5 to the moon and dance along the stars. He will be top 5 and rise all year long.
Driving fast sports cars. All right, let me go back over to the Bruce. Bruce, what's up, my boy?
Hey, Smitty. What do you think of Cole Kmet this year?
I too many mouths to feed, bro. Like, how in the world can he be consistent with 3 wide receivers trying to fight for targets with a rookie quarterback that we don't know how he's going to even use him? What's the rapport look like? How's the offense going to look? I'm going to stay clear of him. I think the same thing that I said about the Joe Flacco comment to John, where do you like Joe Flacco even cuffing or whatever? I'm going to say, why go near Cole Kmet? You got a tight end pool that has never been deeper. Every position feels like it's never been deeper before. It's actually kind of wild. But you got Laporta, Kelsey, McBride, Andrews, Kincaid. Not in my order. This is ADP. Kyle Pitts, Kittle, Ingram, Ferguson, and Njoku. That's 10 tight ends, bro. Bowers, Goddard, Schultz, Freiermuth, Hawkinson won't be around for a while. Then you got Cole Kmet. But I also like Ben Sinnott below him even better. It's a risky move, but I like Luke Musgrave better. It's a little bit of a riskier move, but I like the upside. You can even cuff Luke Musgrave to Kraft, and then you're golden there, because you know that Green Bay tight end is going to do well, whichever one holds the job at the right time. I'd venture to say that Luke Musgrave and Kraft over Cole Kmet is a smash. So I don't need Cole Kmet.
And my last thing is, did you see the quote where Jimmy Graham said that I have yet to retire and I would come back?
Yeah. No, I honestly didn't even make the news that I saw.
Yeah, I seen it and I was like, so ain't he done? And he's like, no, I ain't done.
Yeah, he's probably done. He's probably done. We got another one from Rock Out. Hold on, is this a new one? This might be a new one.
I love fantasy football, scoring touchdown, no injury, just balling out, going to the moon and Saturn. We be dropping low in our lineup.
Is he got a tambourine? Does anybody know? Rock Out, you cooking with the tambourine? Belichick yourself 19th month membership to the moon. Appreciate you, Belichick yourself. You need to be here more often, pal. We've been talking a whole bunch about the Patriots lately, so good for you. I have the Cowboys as a sub 500 team this year, says Calvin Krim. That's an interesting projection. I don't think you're crazy for it. I do have them winning more games than that. I just don't know that they're going to be a better team in general. Like, maybe they don't make the playoffs or something, like something wild, or they get knocked out in the first round again, and they don't do better sum total on the year. Bruce left. Bruce, appreciate you. Let me go back over to John. John, you got anything else, pal?
Yeah, are you trying to get Justin Jefferson below 8, or in other words, like, are you not drafting him if he goes before 8?
We haven't even talked about that yet. That's like on the graphic, and I still have yet to. We're an hour and 8 minutes into the show. All right, let's go to that real quick. On screen, it's been on my screen the whole time. Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell said Sam Darnold is the team's QB1 heading into training camp. Now, this is heading into camp. Doesn't mean it can't change, and I think that was even referenced, that this does not mean it's locked in. Doesn't mean that J.J. McCarthy can't steal the job away with some impressive play. And there's reportedly some benchmarks and some, things that he has to accomplish before they can give him a pass to move forward and start. So, granted, we have that, right? But this is definitely something that I don't know. It doesn't feel good for JJM. And I'm not saying that I would say the exact same thing about Drake May if it happens to Drake May as well, because I have a little more faith in Drake May as a quarterback, and I think he was a much better, even though there's some risk involved, especially on New England. Similar to Bryce Young being a very good prospect in my mind, and I still like Bryce Young a lot, but he's in a horrible situation. And maybe not, put your earmuffs on, Belichick yourself. And Travis has got a thick skin for it, but there's a 50% chance, just an arbitrary number I'm throwing out, probably not exactly accurate, that this thing could go the other direction for a little while or stay stagnant and not really improve for another couple years or a couple more drafts or maybe another coaching change or something. And then there's a 50% chance that it starts heading in the right direction. They used Ramondre Stevenson properly. We've heard rumblings that they could give him an extension, and if they do, that would be unbelievably good for Ramondre. And he is on the Moon Man list. I don't know that I put his mug up yet, but we definitely have.
Sounds like that's dropping loads and
yeah, so we got
going to be done soon.
We got Stevenson and Parasol on the Moon Man list. I just need to put their mugs on here. But we have definitely the ability to see Stevenson thrive this year, be a top 6 to 10 running back, and no one's ranking him there yet. He's a Moon Man for a reason. Go act now. Go get him in drafts. Start scooping him up in trades, in dynasty trades. Trade for him on the low. If you got struggling running back problems, but you're loaded at wide receiver, maybe you've got the first and second pick in your fantasy football rookie draft, and you can get Marvin Harrison Jr. and Neighbors, and you've got Mahomes, and you've got, let's say, Kyle Pitts, but you have no RBs, or you got one RB. Ramondre would be the perfect player for you to go trade for, and he could be your RB2 with ease. He could be your RB1 if you were packing light and you got a Benson and a couple of rookies and you got this young team. I mean, Ramondre's still got a little time left, so he inks a new deal. He could give you a couple years. Ziggy, how old is Ramondre Stevenson?
Ramondre Stevenson is 26 years old.
I mean,
and was born on February 23rd.
He just turned 26 in February, so you got 26, you got 27, and then maybe that hold your breath 28-year-old season, and didn't get a little bit less usage than normal lately. So there's a chance. There's a chance he could play that 28-year-old season pretty well, kind of like Kamara did. So that's maybe 3 years. That's good in Dynasty. I definitely love Stevenson, but I know I went off on a tangent. O'Connell saying that Darnold is the starter right now, especially having to come out and say that, or to actually acknowledge that, is not, in my opinion, a real good sign that JJM is even close to there. And I didn't think he was. He's got a great attitude. Drake May and JJ McCarthy are 100% solid dudes. These are high quality, high character guys. That's one thing you can't knock these two guys for. And JJ McCarthy talking about Sam Darnold with respect, saying, I just can't believe I'm so lucky to be here to learn from him. I watched him play. I think his standards need to be a little higher, or if he's just pumping him up to be kind. But he's yeah, Darnold's he's his hero growing up. Well, we want you to play better than that. Hopefully you've got some other heroes, but Sam Darnold is throwing mad respect his way. Just a great character guy, JJ McCarthy. But I just don't know that he's got the skill set to feed JJ anywhere close to the numbers that he was getting from a Kirk Cousins. Now, this isn't to say that we need to have Kirk Cousins numbers in order for JJ to get 10 touchdowns and 1,400 yards. I get that maybe some other people might not eat, Like if JJ McCarthy laser locks onto JJ like maybe Big Ben used to lock onto Antonio Brown, then it doesn't really matter, right? But we don't know if JJ McCarthy's going to do that. We also don't know if JJ McCarthy can even perform at that level enough that even if he locked onto JJ that he could feed him 10 or 11 or 12 touchdowns. There's a whole lot of variables involved that make me run for the hills in terms of JJ. I just don't like it. But to answer your question, John, at some point, something's got to give. I can't just keep ignoring him, though, and I'll take my stabs. But I will tell you, if I'm sitting here in a Underdog Fantasy Draft promo code Smitty, and if anybody wants to draft with us, that link is in the description pinned. They'll match your first deposit 50%. So if you do the minimum of $10, they'll give you $5 and you'll have $15. They'll match it all the way up to $250. So if you deposit $500, they'll give you $250. Hit the link, get signed up, get ready, because we'll be drafting on Underdog Fantasy most midnights going forward. Okay, so you don't want to miss that. Now, in round 1, he's going around 1.6. And John, your question was, at what point do I jump into the JJ game? Because I'm not super excited about him at 1.6 because he doesn't have the quarterback support to maybe even support this. But I would say, I think once you get to the point where JJ's going, I'm very much more inclined to go Gibbs. Obviously, I'll go Bijan if he's still there. Bijan, Gibbs. And I honestly believe that between these two, 9 times out of 10, I will never have to take JJ if I don't need to, because one of these guys will be available to me in that scenario, in that predicament. I'll never be looking for these two and JJ still on the board. And if that's the case, then I could go with Hall. I think maybe, I'm not saying I don't draft JJ in a couple variants on Best Ball, because Best Ball, you're slinging $5, $10, doing hundreds and hundreds of drafts. I'm going to max out on Best Ball Mania. You bet your bottom dollar I'm going to have a couple of JJ teams. But am I going out of my way to draft multiple JJs? Let's say in one sitting, I've got the 6th pick. I'm probably drafting him one time out of 15 leagues. You know what I mean? Like that is not something to where I'm sitting down, I go, let's build a bunch of JJ teams. I'm just not excited about it. I think it's not, and again, if I'm wrong, big deal. If I'm wrong, you're getting Bijan. If I'm wrong, you're still getting Gibbs. If I'm wrong, you're still getting Hall. I'm not making some grand mistake. I'm not losing sleep at night. I'm not feeling bad about giving somebody advice to ignore JJ, and he somehow goes out and scores wide receiver 5 numbers. You're still getting one of these monsters. So err on the side of caution. There are just better players to take. It happens to be RB. Some would say St. Brown is worth taking over JJ at this point. I don't argue with those people at all. I wouldn't be opposed to going St. Brown instead. So maybe one out of maybe even less than 10% exposure to JJ this year at his number 6 overall ADP, if that answers your question, John.
If the cards fall right and he's still there.
Correct.
John's gone, Hall's gone, Raw's gone. Would you even consider taking AJ Brown over him?
I think I could be convinced to take AJ Brown over him, but I don't know that it would happen very often, because I'm not taking AJ Brown at 1.6. So the question becomes, AJB's too high at 1.6, JJ's too high at 1.6. If this happens to be the dilemma I have, let's say at 1.10, then yeah, I could see myself, especially on Best Ball where I want to draft Hurts. JJ's got no stackable value. If anything, the reason JJ also declines is because you have no stackable value whatsoever. Stacks are not the be-all, end-all. I'm the biggest proponent of that statement. But there is a disadvantage already out of the box in JJ because he doesn't have Hurts. He doesn't have that stackable appeal. So I would say, yeah, in Best Ball, AJ Brown at 10, if JJ was still there. But I'm still looking at these RBs probably more often than 50-60% of the time over AJ Brown and JJ if they're on the board. Like Bijan to me is going to be very, very, very hard to pass on past 1.6. You know, like I'm willing to put my exposure in the 70% range on Bijan if he's falling past 1.6. But all right, John, appreciate you. But I'm crazy like that. Like I don't expect anybody else to do that. Nobody else should. My advice is always to diversify more than I do. But I'm willing to let it all ride. I don't care if I lose 85% of my leagues one year, because that's the way I ride and die. And it doesn't mean that I'm a wild Willie and that I just throw mud at the wall. But there's years where I've had, like the Arian Foster year, I won so much money in so many leagues that year. I won about 90% of everything I did. That was a year that if I was on YouTube that year, it would have been such an unbelievable sight. That was a year I completely smashed with LaShawn McCoy, Arian Foster. Arian Foster was a 6th and 7th round pick. He climbed into the 4-round territory right near the end, closer to week 1. But I went on CBS Sports Radio. I said this is a top, not 5, and that's where my phrase came from. Not top 5, top 1 to 5. I used to say it on NBC Sports Radio all the time. But I said Arian Foster is not top 5. He's top 1 to 5. And he's going in the 6th and 7th round. And he's going to win leagues. Is pretty much verbatim what I said on that when I was breaking it down. And then there's other leagues and there's other years where you miss on something grand scale. Like you could say Bijan last year, but he still played like running back 9. And I would say that I lost maybe 10% of the leagues that I did win with Bijan instead of losing like all of them. Like I did lose a couple, but maybe I would have lost him anyway. You know, Bijan was firing off because that was week 17 that everything kind of fell apart. I had Christian McCaffrey and Kamara in a league in best ball that was like in the top 10. And that team just fell straight out into the 30s after those guys didn't return to their second half. Like things happen in week 17, but I'm not scared to put everything on the line and have 80% of my leagues lose when I'm the kind of guy that could have 80% of them win based on some sort of big, balls to the wall, investment. So Bijan, to me, anything past 1.6, I could put my exposure to the max. I could get crazy up in here. Theo, final thoughts, bro.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Theo, appreciate you, bro. Later. Marsman Rock Out. Any final thoughts, my guy?
Yeah, for some reason, people are trying to bump up Romeo Dobbs over like Jaden Reed and Watson just because he had like the most share in the playoffs, even though Reed has like the most dual threat capabilities.
Yeah, totally, bro. Who do you like? Do you like who do you like most around that territory of player? Like, who are some other guys?
What, around Daniel?
Yeah.
I mean Jaden.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So Jaden Reed is going around. Jaden Reed. Yeah, he's going higher and higher. But he's going around.
I don't know about Dobbs because I never took him this year.
Yeah, he's going around 56 overall. So Worthy's below him, Calvin Ridley's below him, Godwin's below him, Dunze's below him, Addison's below him, Lad McConkey's below him, Coleman's below him. I like Coleman, but JSN's below him, but JSN just got hurt today, so we'll have to monitor that. Now, one person I've read I like more than Jaden Reed. He is climbing, but I still love him over every single player I read, including Ridley, including McConkey, including Coleman. I love Coleman too, but I like Jaden Reed more. Jaden Reed is a mini Deebo Samuel. He is a guy that could get you 3 rushing touchdowns and 200 to 300 rushing yards. On top of all
Hollywood, he goes right before Jaden Reed.
I'm split on that. If I've got Mahomes and I do want to stack it, I will. But non-best ball, probably go Jaden Reed.
Yeah, I lose either go McLaurin, and then if I don't get McLaurin, I go Jaden in like the next round.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else, Rock Out? Appreciate you, bro.
I think you're playing my audio in 2XB.
Oh, what was it? Jamming pretty good to it. Which one? The most recent one?
Sounded fast.
Yeah, the last one.
Right? I think the cup one.
Scoring touchdown, no injury, just balling out, going to the moon and Saturn. We be dropping low in our lineup. Fly J5.
It was 1.5 speed.
To the moon and dance along the stars.
It's better slower.
He will be top 5 and rise all year long.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was playing it on 2 times speed. I was playing it like this.
Fly J5 to the moon and dance along.
Yeah, they're both pretty good. They're both pretty good speeds. I like them.
That's why they thought it was auto-tune, Brandon.
Let me hit it 2 times. Let's do 2 times speed.
Fly J5 to the moon and dance along the stars. It will be top
like robotic.
And rise all year long.
You got
rising all day long.
Long. All right. Anyway, appreciate your rock out. We'll see you later, pal. I don't know if I'll be live tonight or not. I imagine I could be, especially if news breaks. But I also could be on the Dynasty channel. For those that don't know, we got a Dynasty channel. TheFantasyFootballShow.com is the main channel. YouTube.com/TheFantasyFootballShow. You're watching that right now. 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm live every single Monday through Friday, just like tonight's show. I was a little late tonight, but Dynasty channel is YouTube.com/DynastyFantasyFootball. And I hope to be live on that tonight, maybe for a little bit. And then if not, maybe we'll do both if I can. If I can't, I don't know. Don't forget to get on over to the Patreon as well. We usually do like a little, let's talk about extend the show a little bit over there and have conversation. I start a chat every time there's a show, and I say, here's the link. Here's where we're going to talk about the show. Anybody want to talk after about the topics? And on the Patreon, it's very simple. It's $10. I got rid of the Discord. For anybody looking for the Discord, it's no longer. I think Discord was just too toxic. We had like 1,300 members on Discord. We were balling on Discord at one point. But then the interest started to fade a little bit. On top of, we had some real big trolls that just kind of drove the chat like kind of depressing and down. And we got rid of a lot of those people, but it ended up just kind of dying. It was kind of a ghost town. We had like 8 people that were on there. We had 1,300 members. It's just like people turned off their notifications for it. And Discord's just kind of like, I've grown tired of it. It's been overutilized. Everybody's got one. It was meant for gaming when they made it. It's a lot more complex and complicated for people to really grasp. Sometimes I'm not saying it was too complicated for me to run. I'm a tech guy, but everybody else just got tired of using it. And so we're on Patreon now. And it's $10 a month that weeds out all the trolls. Only serious people that are going to be on there. All the faces you'll recognize from the show. So it's not like you're walking into a new environment. You'll see everybody you're seeing in the live chat. You'll be like, whoa, there you are. It's like a place we hang out 365, 24/7. Before the show, after the show. And if I move this little image, this little text here, below you can see right here this last chat. There's 10 live chats. You'd scroll through if this was live scrolling. But the Game Day Lounge chat is where we're going to hang out during any game. Monday game, Thursday game, Sunday slate of games. We'll be in there rooting for our players. What do you need? Hey, start bench advice, etc. And the first 200 people, this is still valid right now. First 200 people, and we still have a handful of spots left, for sure. First 200 people get into a 242-man league. 11 leagues of 22 people. And the winner of each of the 11 leagues will advance into 2025 to join me in a 12-person Dynasty startup draft that will draft live on the channel. And all of these 11 leagues in this 242-man tournament is also going to be drafted live on a single Saturday or maybe a Saturday and a Sunday, depending on how long it take, because there's 11 drafts and there's 22 draft picks in each round, and there's 8 rounds. So it's going to take a while, but it's going to be a draft marathon. We'll have some fun. We'll order some food. We'll get Miss Smitty to cook up some meatloaf. We'll do it live. It'll be a great little Saturday. Maybe we'll have some giveaways. So look forward to that live draft stream, and get on over to my Discord. The link is right here. It's I don't think I have it in the description yet. I need to start putting that in my damn description. Sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't. Here's the link to the Discord. I'm going to drop it right now. I'm going to pin it, but join the Discord. Or not the Discord. I keep saying Discord. Join the Patreon. Join the Patreon.
Yeah, you said that last year.
I know. The Discord's gone. Join the Patreon. Here's the link I was so used to saying that, but it was just, I'll tell you what, man, I deleted it. And most people be like, why would you delete something like that? I felt so freeing. I deleted it, and good God, I'm glad it's gone. I couldn't stand it. It just got so toxic. Here's the link. I just dropped it. I just pinned it. Join the Patreon. $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Just a little caveat though. If you join and then cancel right away, you're not going to get kicked out of this league. You'll get your spot. You'll be in this league. We'll do the draft live. But I urge you to give it a chance, because I think that for the $10 a month, that's like one coffee a month you can not buy. You're going to have access to anybody for fantasy advice. And I promise you, it's popping now. We've got a lot. Like, you ask a question, you get a response very quickly. I promise you that once the season comes near, it's going to get more wild. We usually, fantasy football usually takes like a trajectory upward, like in terms of amount of people interested in the shows go up and viewers and everything just increases tenfold about July 4th. After the 4th of July, it's just kind of a switch that gets flipped in the industry and things get heavier and busier. And so you're going to have so much advice at your fingertips. You want to say, hey guys, what do you think of this trade? And I'm going to be in there too. I've been living in there. I try and get in there as many chats as I can get involved in. I'm not just there once a day. I'm checking in all day long, and I'll continue to. This is a pillar of the show. It's not something like on the Discord where it's like there's no and I'm not trying to say this in a callous way, because it's not everything's about money or anything, but it wasn't a product of any kind. It was just a free Discord that a lot of people took advantage of. They rushed in, they spammed the hell out of it. And this is an actual product that I'm putting my valuable, scarce time into, because I only have so much hours to work on different things. This is one of the 4 or 5 pillars that make up the brand. And it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger. People that get in from the ground floor are going to have excitement of being a part of growing it. When someone asks a question, everybody's throwing their hand in to try and answer as fast as they can to keep it moving and keep the content flowing, right? You know, because what's more boring than going into a chat room area environment, asking a question and waiting 2 days, no one answers you? That's what the whole notion here is. We're going in, we're trying to be speedy, we're all trying to come together. And so the app is as simple as this. There's live chats. You click the live chat button. You see 10 live chats that are always there, ready for you to post in. And then there's the home button, which gives you all the exclusive lockdown content that I write specifically for Patreon. None of this has to do with thefantasyfootballshow.com. Nothing is getting diminished over on this side. This is my full-fledged website. They're 2 different products. Nothing is getting degraded or devalued or ignored over here. So if you want harder core information like year-round rankings, year-round trade calculators, year-round bowl predictions, all that stuff, you'll want the fantasyfootballshow.com. The video courses, especially the trade calculator, code DRAFT will get you 10% off. That is a totally different product, but the Discord will have specific articles written and content probably relating to a lot of the shows we're talking about. Like, it's going to be kind of driven by the convos we're having together. So that's why it's going to be important. It'll all be there for the taking on Patreon. Click the link. It's pinned in the live chat. Rock out. Any final thoughts, bro?
Yeah, you can make any cup t-shirts?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I got other players that are a little bit more of a priority than Cup, but I do like Cup.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right, cool. I do have a couple players I'm trying to get on the show, and I'll let you know. Oh, yeah. 2 of them, if I was to land even one of them, which there's a good shot. There's one of them's supposed to come on. It just keeps getting canceled. You guys are gonna lose your mind. The second one, all right, your mind will be lost as well. But we'll find out. The odds are these things fall through. These players are so busy in camp and everything, they can't get on. I usually have like retired players come on very easily, more than anybody else. We had Ronnie Brown, former Miami Dolphin running back, on once. We had what's his name? Danny Woodhead's come on the show. Damian Barry, running back for the Ravens, has come on the show before. He's old school. He didn't play a whole bunch, but he was a good guy. We've had and the AB news. Oh God, thank you for reminding me. So Antonio Brown, you guys know Antonio Brown kind of became a friend of the show. He DM'd me on Twitter and started, talking with me. And he said he was a friend of the show. He goes, I love the show. I watch the show. And I'm like, really? I'm like, really? You really do? And so we were talking a little bit, and we even had conversations, and he even asked for like some information. Like he'd DM me and go, hey, is this true? And I'd look into it, or I'd look at the, it would be like, it was about, I can read, I can't read it to you because he said when Herbert had his guaranteed money, he wasn't aware. I don't know if you guys remember his post where it's like Herbert's getting traded, and everybody in the comments was like, his dead cap is too crazy. And he DM'd me, goes, is this true about his dead cap? And so I read him the dead cap, and I gave him the dead cap numbers. And so he's like, thanks, man. And so he DM'd me, like, this is Antonio Brown. And so we became friendly. And then I just basically said, after like tons of communication between him and I, just regular chats, I just said, hey, can you come on the show? And he messaged this. He messaged, so you can see my last message to him, said just 5 minutes at any point between 8 p.m. and 10:30, because he said, what time? And then he wrote this, you got budget? You got budget? And I responded like very politely. I just said, I don't really pay people to come on my show. I want people that are going to come on the show to like want to come on, and I'll promote whatever the hell you got going on. But I mean, like, I'm not buying. This is not a what do you call those things where you call and order a happy birthday? What is it?
What's the name?
Cameo. This isn't Cameo. Yeah, this isn't a Cameo where I purchased a $50 happy birthday or something. I'm like, you're coming on to. He's coming on to talk about CT ESPN. I said, you're coming on to get a new audience. My audience loves you because I told them that you and I are communicating a little bit. And so when he said you got budget, I just said, look, I just want you to come on and promote. You know what I mean? I then checked and he did this. Antonio Brown blocked you. You wanted some scratch, and when I didn't give him the cash money, he blocked me immediately after telling me he's a fan of the show. He's probably watching right now. Maybe he didn't mean to. Antonio, if you accidentally block me, unblock me and send me a message, and come on the show and make it right. But I mean, this is wild. You got budget. I mean, I do, but I don't want to pay you to come on the show, bro. I'm trying to promote your CT ESPN. I'm not some small potato show where like I gotta beg you and pay you to come on my show, And he blocks me. So CT ESPN is kind of on our shit list.
Yeah, he did. Man. He did file for bankruptcy. So
yeah.
I mean, look, I would have thrown him a. We could have said, hey, you know what? The super chats that come through during your segment, I will give to you, just to support CT ESPN. I mean, I could have said something like that. In hindsight, maybe I should have, but to block me over not giving him some of the budget, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, you want a retainer?